You're watching Rules of the Game with Bill Krugh, brought to you by these fine sponsors. Albert Sporting Goods, American Legion Post 323, All Glaze Equipment Rental, Capabilities, David Wabacher Attorney, Eagles 767, FCA, Fowler's TV, Freedom Marketing Strategies, Grand Lake Roofing, Guarneri's Pizzeria, Jackalope Stash, Larry Schaff Auto Sales, Laura Yelton State Farm, MHS Alumni Foundation, Miller Funeral Homes, Minster Bank, Plus One Professional Real Estate, Ryder Rooters, Roots Pub, St. Mary's Foundry, Sean Barnett Electrical, Spees Chiropractic and Wellness Center, Spring Street Storage, TSC, and Varsity Lanes.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of Rules of the Game. I'm Joe Hurlburt, sitting in for vacationing Zach Farrell, who hopefully will be back next week. Joining me, as he does each and every week, is Bill Krugh, and of course, Bill, welcome to the program.
Thanks, Joe. Glad to be here.
So first of all, a couple of questions from a viewer that I think you might be able to handle.
Okay.
What is the fewest number of officials that is permitted for a varsity game?
Well, that one is a tough one to answer because in past years, there have been two guys do a varsity game. Two. I can think of a game back 20 years ago where there was just two guys doing the game. Now, the state of Ohio this year has said a crew is six members. This year, you can do it with five, like it's always been. But if someone gets sick during a game where you only have five, and they can't make it, you can do it with four. And there has been, I can remember one game, and it was over in Walpock. They only had two guys.
Really?
Yeah. So there is no minimum number.
And is there an alternate official is close by that if needed be, he can put the stripes on and come into the ball game?
Only if you can get a hold of him
Really?
whenever the other one drops out.
Really?
If there was a guy in town that has his license and you come into town and you're going to do the game and someone is in an accident or something, can't make it to the game, yeah, you can call someone and fill in real quick, but it happens.
Yep.
It happens.
And I think our second question is this: how difficult was it for you to move from umpire to wearing the white hat as the referee? How difficult is that transition?
Well, the hard thing about that one is getting all the signals right, making sure that I'm signaling to the press box what the foul was so we can penalize it. So the umpire, his main objective is watching the line, watching that kind of stuff, and his expertise is supposed to be penalty enforcement. How many yards for each particular foul? Whereas the referee, he's more in charge of game management and the backfield, protecting that quarterback, and so there's a difference. But I think the hardest thing for me was making sure that I get the signals correct up to the press box. But what helps is, like here in St. Mary's when we did this game, is you have a microphone so I can explain. So even if I do screw up the signal, you hear it over the loudspeaker, and so it really isn't that hard of a transition, but it is different.
And you did a great job with that microphone, letting the people know what the signal was on the field, which segues perfectly into what we're going to talk about. Signals. There's a variety of signals that the official does on the field. Let's just maybe go through some of half a dozen of the most common ones, or maybe some that fans may not understand your hand signals on the field and exactly what they mean.
Okay. When we set the ball down and we're getting ready for play, and you can hear the referee blow his whistle and bring his arm straight down, that means the ball is ready for play. the whistle and the arm means it's ready for play, and that 25-second clock can start. We now have a 40-second clock, so you only use that 25-second clock on change of possessions, after a kickoff, after a timeout. But yeah, this one straight down is the ball's ready for play. Okay, and then if the clock is stopped, say an incomplete pass or something, once the ball's snapped, then the clock starts. So when you see officials doing this, we want that clock to start. Another one would be when you see a referee doing this, he's trying to get that play clock to go back up to 25. See, say there's a long pass down the field, and there's 40 seconds. They automatically set it for 40 seconds, and it runs down. Well, if you don't get that ball set before it gets down to 25, you're not giving the offense a good amount of time to get the play in and call it. So you'll see officials doing this, and that is telling the play clock operator to set it to 25. Now, if he uses both hands, that's set it to 40 seconds, set it back to 40. But if you do, it's usually just one to give them enough time, because it was our fault that we didn't get the ball down and place it.
So there's one that we'll see. Well, I think we'll see it on one of the clips, and we'll get to that after we come back from a break. But offsides is pretty common.
Yeah.
Illegal man downfield.
Illegal man downfield would be one hand on the head. You know, that would be. In high school, it happens, and it happens quite often.
It does.
You know, especially when the quarterback starts scrambling around, those linemen are taught, give them like 2 or 3 or 4 seconds, and then they start wandering downfield looking for someone to block, and then
it happens.
And it happens,
Well, those are some of the signals that you'll see some of the officials on the field do throughout the course of a ball game. We're going to come back. We're going to see some of the plays this week against last week against Celina, but we're going to review some of those. We'll do that and more when Rules of the Game continues with Bill Krugh right after this.
You're watching Rules of the Game with Bill Krugh, brought to you by these fine sponsors. Albert Sporting Goods, American Legion Post 323, All Glaze Equipment Rental, Capabilities, David Wabacher Attorney, Eagles 767, FCA, Fowler's TV, Freedom Marketing Strategies, Grand Lake Roofing, Guarneri's Pizzeria, Jackalope Stash, Larry Schaff Auto Sales, Laura Yelton State Farm, MHS Alumni Foundation, Miller Funeral Homes, Minster Bank, Plus One Professional Real Estate, Ryder Rooters, Roots Pub, St. Mary's Foundry, Sean Barnett Electrical, Spees Chiropractic and Wellness Center, Spring Street Storage, TSC, and Varsity Lanes.
Welcome back to Rules of the Game. I'm Joe Hurlburt, sitting in for Zach Farrell alongside Bill Krugh. And Bill, let's take a look at some of the plays from last week that stood out. You can make your comments as you deem necessary, but this is actually the first penalty of the ball game.
Okay, I think it's the left tackle jumps, if I remember right, for Celina. Oops. I think that was the first penalty, wasn't it?
I believe. Yeah, he did. Yep. So that's pretty obvious.
Yeah, that one's pretty obvious. Yeah, I think everybody in the stands, if everybody in the stands sees it, you better get it, right?
I think that was the one where the official at the bottom of the screen was waving his hand.
Okay. Oh, he's doing. Okay, what?
Now, maybe that's not the one, but maybe that wasn't even a penalty. Maybe I just chose that just for fun.
I think that was a fourth down, wasn't it?
It could have been. Well, he is crossing his hands of some sort. Maybe that is.
What he's doing. Can you just hold it right there? What he's doing is he's counting the offensive lineman.
Okay.
Now, he's not counting, neither one of them counts the center. What you do is you count from the guard all the way out to the receiver and how many guys you have on the line of scrimmage. Okay. So if you have your hands straight down like this, he's telling him, I have 3. Okay? And if the other guy has 3 and you're counting the center, that means you have 7 on the line of scrimmage, which used to be you had to have 7 on the line of scrimmage, but that's not the rule anymore. The rule is you just can't have more than 4 in the backfield. So you can play with 10. You can have 4 in the backfield and 6 linemen, and it's not a penalty. It used to be you had to have 7 on the line of scrimmage, but it's not that way anymore. The ruling is you can't have more than 4 in the backfield. And what he's doing is he's telling the other guy, I've got 3 on my sideline, on my side of the center.
So let's take a look at the left offensive tackle. He is back off the football. What constitutes him being off the line and actually in the backfield? Does his helmet have to be in a certain area?
Yes, his helmet has to break the waist of the center.
Well, that's pretty close.
That's very close, and it's one of those deals you're going to probably tell them, move up. You know, you're getting close. You're getting to that neither nor area where you're neither on the line nor you're in the backfield. So
as an official, as they head back to the huddle, you can go up and say, hey, just move up a little closer.
And you see officials talking to players a lot, and that's usually what it is. Hey, you either telling the defensive lineman back up, or you're telling the offensive lineman scoot up.
Yeah, one of the things you see common from a wide receiver is that he'll point down to an official, and is that just to tell him that you're lined up okay?
Absolutely, and that's a big help. And when coaches in the junior high level teach that to the kids, and it gets all the way up to the varsity level, it helps a lot. See, he's right here. He's pointing. I'm on the line of scrimmage, and the guys inside of him, they'll put their hands back. See that?
Okay.
I'm back. I'm off the line of scrimmage. So even if he scoots up there and he's breaking the waist of the center, you're probably going to leave him go because he's telling you he's back.
Okay.
It's not faking the other team out. It's getting in line with the officials that, you know what I'm saying? Because if he's covered up, then he can't go downfield.
Yeah, I think this here is to me, could have been constituted a late hit. What is a late hit? Is that close?
That's very close.
Okay.
That's very close. I actually thought he was going to see. I'm following the play behind you. You can't see me on this clip. And so if he's a step out of bounds, he's out of bounds, and that could have been. That could have been called. Now, one thing about this game, I want to say something about this game and plays like this, is this game, I've done 5, I think this was my 5th St. Mary Celina game over the years, varsity game. And this felt like an old-time rivalry game. The last few I've done, I didn't have that same feel. Mm-hmm. But coming to the game, talking to the coaches before the game, it had that feel of an old-time rivalry. Grand Lake rivalry game, and it was like that. So there was some little bit of extracurriculars going on here and there, and we managed through it, and we let them play the game.
Good.
See that one right there? That play right there. See, I'm looking right at it.
Could that be an unnecessary roughness?
Absolutely. I could have called that, but when he didn't slam him down, he kind of threw him, and the kid went down. And I think that's why I let that one go. Yeah,
because there was another one, and I referred to it in the Bo Fry show, that Taylor Compton actually looked like a WWE body slam. Yeah. And I thought, man, he threw the Celina quarterback to the ground.
And see, this is the very next play, and there you can see me. I'm trying to get the clock to reset at 25.
Right. There you go. Yeah.
And I think I looked away right there.
So Colton Mabry looks at you. And then,
see, now that is the play. That's the play out of the entire game that I'm more disappointed in us as a crew for not getting. That should have been gone. Everybody in the stadium saw it except me. and everyone had a right to boo me on that, boo our crew on that, because someone should have got it. And when I first watched this, I did not know this play even happened because I was not looking over there. I don't know what I was looking at. I was trying to get that clock operator to reset, apparently, and that's why I missed that. Yeah. And I don't I'm upset with our crew for someone not getting
and the
it.
two people in the backfield was Colton Mabry and Caleb Schmidt, and it was just one of those things that one heard a whistle, one stood up, the other went down, and then boom, they snapped the football. Everybody was in motion and gone.
Yep, that one's on me. That one's on me, and we blew that. That should have been called.
But you're forgiven.
Well, thank you. I've got broad shoulders. I can handle it.
There you go. Well, you have to put that white hat on, for sure. Oh, this was, I think, the crown of the helmet call. Yeah, I think that was called because they put the crown of the helmet on the receiver. It's kind of hard to see. It was, but I think
it's right there. It's the second guy that hits him. I think it wasn't the first guy. I think it was the second guy that hit him, and Matt was right there. He was right there on it. Matt McCullum was our head linesman for the night, and he did a fine job out there.
This one here it's almost, he thought about grabbing him as a horse collar, but I think he thought best about it and that. But so explain what constitutes the horse collar, because this is close, well, but he pulled his hand back.
It used to be the fingers had to be inside the shirt. It's no longer that. You can grab at where the name tag is, that low on the shirt.
Okay.
And you have to jerk him backwards. Okay, he has to come back.
Right.
And he doesn't. He goes forward. Even if he would have grabbed him there and he still falls forward, it still wouldn't be a horse collar. Sure. You got to jerk him back, because that's what it's this. Why it's safety for him is those legs.
Right.
But if he's falling forward, his legs were.
And let's, while we're talking about the horse collar, and let's talk about Colton Mabry, who has the long hair.
Uh-huh.
That's part of the uniform. Unfortunately, if somebody reaches out and grabs his hair and brings him down, that's legal.
That's legal.
And it's legal.
That's legal.
This is the pass that I think a lot of people thought was a lateral to begin with, and of course it was called an incomplete pass.
Well, this play here, after you watch it, it's definitely a backward pass. But when we're down up here from the view of this camera, you get a really good look at it. But down there at eye level, and if you look at it, that ball is no more than a yard, maybe a yard and a half backward. And so when we got together, both the line judge and the head linesman, the guys that are on the wing, they have the best look at it, especially the guy that's behind it. So the guy down here at the bottom, since that ball was going away, he's got the best look at it. But it was thrown so fast that he didn't have the time to get back there, and the guy on the other side didn't either. The referee and the center judge, they're 15 yards off the ball. So nobody is really on that line to see that. So when we got together, I asked both linemen what you saw, what did you see, and the head linesman, he says, I think it was a little bit forward. So I went with the rules that the state of Ohio puts out there for you. When in doubt, it's a forward pass.
Sure.
And so that's what we went with. It was a forward pass, and then after you look at it on film, no, we were wrong, but that's what we had to go with.
All right. Let's go to the next clip, and then after this one, we'll go to our last clip.
So what do we have there?
Let's see what we got. Oh, I think the play clock ran out.
Oh, we had
I think the play clock.
A delay of game.
Delay of game.
Yep.
So let's run to our last clip, our very last clip. What do you see about this one right here? I'll tell you.
Okay, you tell me.
Nothing. It's the end of the game.
Okay.
Game over.
Okay, the victory formation there.
Absolutely.
And you tell the quarterback, they'll come out and tell you, we're taking a knee, and you tell that quarterback, get down immediately. But you tell everybody else, hey, protect yourself.
Yep.
And it's fair game. It's still a game. You still play the game. But you tell that quarterback, you kneel down right now.
Have you ever seen any quarterback fake the kneel and then stand up and run the play?
Yeah, we did.
Have you?
But our referee at the time, he blew it dead.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, And
Was there some discussion?
there was some discussion. It was Coach John Reed over there in Coldwater, and
yeah.
he was going to kneel to win the game, but the quarterback faked it and he stepped back. But our before he could throw the ball, our referee had killed it, and
that's cool.
so there was some discussion between Coach Reed and our referee at the time.
Well, those are some of the clips from last week. Thanks, Bill. I know it's tough to analyze your own game that you call, but you did a great job this week. So,
And the only thing I gotta critique you a little bit.
Go ahead.
After listening to it. Okay, you and Mark were up there talking about the number of kids, the St. Mary's kids that are coaches, Adam Neal, Travis Chilcote, and then you talked about Dalton Chilcote, and you said that's Travis's son.
Yes.
That's Scott's son.
I know, I corrected that.
Oh, did you? I didn't hear you correct.
Yeah, I did, because
Okay.
somebody had texted me and said, and I said, so I corrected it.
Okay.
So, yeah, I did correct
Yeah, so I was going to critique you a bit.
That's okay. That's okay. So appreciate you stopping by.
You bet, man.
Appreciate it. And
You bet.
we'll be back next week with Rules of the Game. Zach will be here. So that's going to conclude this edition of Rules of the Game. Again, join us this Friday night as the Roughriders take on the Defiance Bulldogs. I'll be there. Drew Jacobs will be alongside to bring you all the play-by-play action. Until then, so long, everyone.
Thanks for watching another episode of Rider Nation Station. Help us help you by subscribing on YouTube or following us on Facebook.